And this is a LibriVox chit chat. No, it's not a chit chat session. It's a Zoom session on what is today, February the 12th. We're going to be talking about editing dramatic readings and plays. Anybody have anything to say before we just jump right in?
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
I couldn't find my cat.
My mask.
A cat filter.
No cat filters.
So I decided to wear my Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer shirt
There you
instead. Besides which, it's freezing down here. It's like in the 40s. It's going to be 30s tonight.
It's cold.
So
it's cold in Baton Rouge, yeah. That's cold for us, folks. Okay, well, Michelle, you look fine. I'm glad you wore your Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I did not wear my mask. I had a Mardi Gras mask I was going to wear, but I guess I threw it out. Okay, well, let's get going. I'd like to introduce y'all to Devorah.
Devorah.
Would you take it over?
Yes.
Devorah.
Devorah.
Yes.
Devorah.
Great. Let me see. Phil, do I have the ability to share my screen? Because that's going to be important.
Absolutely, you do.
Share.
Everybody
yes, I do.
does.
Yes, I do. Fabulous. Okay, share sound. And there we go. All right. So you should be seeing a script and a whole bunch of Audacity windows.
Yep. Yep.
Excellent.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll see you, Bill.
Bunches, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, I guess, where do I start? This is a play that I've been running for the one-act collection number 14, which, well, the final role actually came in yesterday. I was not really expecting to have it for this demonstration, but it's fine. I do have a technique when I have like all but one part that I can go ahead and start the editing process. So I'm going to show you that. Yeah, so here are all of my roles. How you arrange your screen is going to be really kind of up to you and up to what kind of equipment you have. If you have one of those, fancy double screen or triple screen layouts on your desk, then, you'll be golden because you have room to see everything. I have to kind of cascade stuff and I still run out of room. But what I have is right here, kind of above all of them, is my narrator file. This is what I'm going to use as the kind of master working file. This is the one I'm going to paste everything else into. So by the time I'm done, all these, can you see my cursor? Is that showing up also?
Yes, Yes, it shows.
Okay, great. Awesome. So all of these other files, by the time we're done, are going to be empty because I'm going to be cutting things from there and putting them in here. And this is kind of like a two-part process, how I think of it. The first part is just getting all of the files from the individual file into one single file. But it's still not going to sound good because there's going to be awkward pauses and things like that. And then part two is going to be getting rid of those awkward pauses and kind of normalizing, equalizing everything and getting the timing right. So it's kind of a two-step thing. Step one is going to be really, really easy if you had a good proof listener. I proof listened all these myself, so hopefully I did a good job. Step one should go pretty quick and pretty easy. This isn't a very long play, so we'll see how far we get into it. Does anybody have any questions before I just jump in? I don't know. I feel like I probably should have said something else preliminary, and I haven't.
Yeah, let's if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I see a whole bunch of Audacity files open up on your screen, and you have your master. You call this your master, which is the narrator. What about proof listening? Like you said, if one of the readers, Mr. Silverwaith or whatever, has mistakes, you just do the normal thing. You tell them, hey, this is not right.
Yeah. So readings, all of the parts should have already been proof listened at this point. I only wait until all of the parts have a PLOK individually. And then at that point, I put this in here, because what you don't want is finding missing lines at this point, finding, incorrect lines that don't make sense, just things that awkward bumps and thuds, and that's gonna slow things down, because then you have to send a message to whoever it is and say, hey, I can't understand this line because it sounds like the TV's on in the background or something like that. So you want to take care of all those issues before you get to this editing part.
Okay.
So these file proofless, they should be good to go.
Okay, so they're all PLOK. I shouldn't have.
Yep.
Okay. That's
No,
all.
that's a good
my
question. Yeah, that's a
Devorah?
good question.
Devorah, I
Yes.
noticed that this is only 9 minutes long.
Right.
Is that the full extent of the narrator's performance?
Yes, but as I add the other characters into there, it's going to grow significantly.
That's a short narration.
I thought this might be like one act or one scene.
This is one act. This is the one act play collection number 14. Yep.
Okay, Devorah.
Yes.
So I don't know if this suits you or not, but if you could move the narrator's screen down a little so we could see the text. Do we need to see the text?
That does not suit me, and the reason is because
All right,
I really need to. If I had a bigger screen, and I used to have a bigger screen on my last computer, and that was nice because I could see more of the text at one time. But for this, like I said, kind of the part 1 phase of editing, I only need to see tiny little chunks of the text at one time. Once everything is all together in one file and I don't have to have all these other open windows, we'll be able to see more of the text because we'll be able to close all those other things out. But for right now, I like, and again, this is kind of personal preference, but I like having all of my windows where, I can get to any of them at any point.
So you're going to take, I could wait, but I'm an impatient person. You're going to take one of the characters, and splice them in all of their lines in, or you're going to take, as they go down in the script, you're going to grab it. Okay, I'll be quiet and listen.
Yeah, start to finish, and that's why I like having them all visible, like I said.
Okay, I understand that now.
Yeah. So, let's see. All right, zoom in here. And I guess I'll just go ahead and get started, and stop me if you have questions. And if I have something I think that needs more explanation, I'll stop.
Okay.
Information or to volunteer,
wait a minute.
please visit LibriVox.org.
Can you hear it?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, can hear it. It's a little, it's a little bit, it's not in sync with the voice. It's not in sync with the visualization.
Okay. I don't think there's anything I can do about that.
I think there is. I believe there is, maybe, because I've done this so many times before. But if you go back, if you were to go unshare your screen, and then when you get to before you share your screen, click the 2 little buttons in the lower left corner of the share screen. It takes care of when you're doing this kind of work. It makes it synchronize. So if you could unshare your screen for just a minute.
Okay. Hang on a second.
Just unshare your screen completely.
For more
And then when you
information
hit-
or to volunteer,
And then when you hit share screen again, before you share it, go click those little buttons down in the lower left
Okay,
corner.
so there's the button that says share sound, and there's another one that says optimize for video clip. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you should do both of those.
Okay, because I just checked
And
both
then-
of those from where
Right.
I am. Did it fix
Okay.
anything?
No, it's worse. It's terrible.
It's worse.
You have
for
to
more
get out.
information or
You have to get out and then go do it, and then share your screen, and then it should work.
for more information or to volunteer,
Now it's fuzzy.
Okay.
But it's insane.
Well, I'm gonna. Okay. It's in sync.
It's in sync, but it's
Okay.
fuzzy.
Oh,
Testing
I don't know what to do about that. All right.
I don't either. It was
Okay.
not fuzzy before.
Well, let me. One thing that I did change before, I guess. I don't know.
Now it's clear.
Now
For
it's
more
clear.
information or to volunteer,
All right.
please
I think we're
visit
gonna go with that.
LibriVox.org.
So there's our disclaimer.
But it's not.
And
It's
then,
not in sync. But that's okay.
well, we'll do the best we can. After the disclaimer, and at some point before the actual play starts, you're going to want to do your cast list. Let's see. So
Characters.
here we have our cast list.
Dr. Alice Rum.
And depending on your play, you might want to have your cast list. In a one act, of course, it's all going to be in the same file. But if this was a multi-act play, I might want to have the cast list in like a section 0. But so there's some options for that. But
Dr. Alice Romney, a medical
all right,
woman.
so I'm going to take this.
Read by Devorah Allen.
I'm going to paste it in over this.
Character.
There we are.
Read by
Let's see. Our next character is Geraldine.
Lady Geraldine Boleyn.
Lady Geraldine's over here. Let me grab her. Okay, I'm not going to listen to this whole entire thing. I'm just listening to the first part and the last part to make sure that I have the correct selection. Later on, I'm going to go through and listen to all of it. Who's this? Well, I put it in the wrong place.
Lady Geraldine
That's me
Boleyn.
talking and not paying attention.
Dr.
There we are.
So do you, when people record all their
Lady
parts,
Gerald-
do you have them put a 5-second space between their lines?
I say 3 to 5 seconds, just so long as it's an obvious visual break. I'm not real
Okay.
picky on like, oh, you only gave me, 3.5 seconds and I need 4, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So here we have Lady Geraldine, and who's this? All right. Now,
Miss
Miss
Gertrude
Silverthwaite, she submitted her line yesterday, and I proof listened it, and it's PL-OK, but I'm not going to add it in just yet because instead I'm going to show you my technique for what I do if I'm missing a part. So I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to add in what I call a place marker. I do this by generate tone. And I have actually set the space bar to do this just with the keyboard, so I don't have to use that menu. So I'm going to add a tone, and there's a 1-second tone. The reason I do the reason I do that is because when you zoom out, it's very obvious.
You can see it.
You can see it.
Can see it.
And so you can go back in and plug in what you need to. It's very loud and obnoxious, so I try to never actually play it. I only just look at it. So we're gonna.
Labels.
Was there a question?
Have you considered using labels?
I've heard of labels. I haven't really ever experimented with them much, but I find this to be, I mean, it works, and I just hit spacebar and it's there. So I don't really.
You don't have to hear labels.
Yeah, well, that's true.
How annoying
But
it could be to have that.
yeah, well.
But yeah, you can see them and you can
Miss Nora Bailey.
whatever you be.
Yeah. All right.
Miss Nora
All right,
Bailey.
so we have Miss Nora Bailey. She's going to go in here. We have Miss Hilda Crown and Shield.
Miss Hilda Crown.
And she's going to go in here.
Miss and Broda.
And so what I'm doing is I'm highlighting the part I know I want to replace. And then I can just
Miss Nellie Grant.
come over here, highlight what I want to replace it with.
Miss Nelly.
Control X and paste up there. So there we are. Almost there. Jane.
Jane.
And
Jane.
okay.
Skirbo.
I think that's everyone. Oh, there we are.
Stage
All right,
directions.
So that's our
read
cast
by
list.
Todd.
And then we get into the actual play. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead.
Scene. Dr. Alice Rogers at home. and has a strong, capable
Okay, enter
face.
maid with card.
With card.
And then maid, who is Jane. I don't know why they, yeah. Okay.
A lady asks special.
So I just listened to the first part and the last part. There we are.
She insisted.
Jane only has one line, poor dear. So,
And you can actually see the text, so you know where the first part and the last part is.
exactly.
You have to be looking at your text, right?
Right. Yeah, but that's why I only need to see a little bit of the text at a time.
Right, I see that.
For this stage. So that was Jane's only line. I can close this window. Okay.
I can close Jane's window. I see.
Yeah, because I already took her only line out of there.
Okay.
Okay.
Dr.
So
Alice,
Dr.
looking at
Alice
card.
says, "Show her in, Jane." Okay.
Show her in.
And again, when
The Lady
you're just,
Geraldine Boleyn.
especially when your files have all been proof listened and you're confident that everything's there, this stage usually goes very quickly. Okay, so here's Lady Geraldine's first line. I'm gonna just highlight until I see a break in the text or in the waveform. And I should have, okay, I'm gonna play. Okay. And my word, you were bad at French, weren't you? That's the end of her line.
I hope
skip
I am
over
not
there.
interrupted.
There we are. That's all of it. So
Hello.
paste.
Bad at French.
Okay. And then I'm gonna see what's next.
What?
Stage directions. Dr. Alice nodding.
Okay, I'll be out there in a minute.
Dr. Alice, reproachfully.
Dr. Alice nodding. Do I not have Dr. Alice
Dr.
nodding?
Alice,
Uh-oh.
reproachfully.
Okay, there it is.
Dr.
we are.
Alice, nodding.
I pasted it in the wrong spot. Okay. There we are. All right, Dr.
Dr.
Alice.
Alice, nodding.
Yes. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. There we are. I
Yes,
just listened to
and
the
I'm
first part and the
wondering over
last
them.
part, and I paste it. And next is Lady Geraldine again. Zoom out a little bit. So I was, and
So I was, so I am still.
There we are.
Don't let there be any mistake about that. Fearful script.
all right,
Oh, word.
that's Lady Geraldine. Then
Do
we have,
you like to do jigsaw puzzles?
I do. How did you know? Yes, indeed.
There's a similarity there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure.
Discretion.
All right. I think Todd usually, I think I've seen him describe this section as kind of almost a Zen state, where you just kind of, cut and paste and you look at your script and you cut and you paste. And that's kind of how it gets to. Apparently never. Anti-suffrage league. Okay.
Brightening up.
Here we are.
Is that
And Lady Geraldine again. There we are. So this part's kind of boring to watch, actually. Let's see.
So you're reading down the text. Let me just get this straight in my head. You're reading down the text line by line, and every time you come to a character's line, you go to that person's Audacity script.
What do you want me to do?
Pick off the very next thing,
Yes.
and you paste it in.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you go back to your narrator,
Uh-huh.
and you get to the next one, and you're always scrolling through your script.
Uh-huh.
And when you come to the next person's thing, you go to their
Right.
Audacity sheet. So you have as many sheets open as you have characters in the chapter, in the act.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Correct.
Pour it in her muffin
This
satchel.
is still Lady Geraldine.
Ah, here it is.
All right.
I know. Shall.
Okay.
Now, is
Dr.
there
Alice
any
again.
reason you couldn't shorten your, God, I don't know the word for it, your waveform? I don't mean shorten it side to side. I mean from top to bottom. Make it not so tall, and you could fit more things on
I'm
your
not
screen.
sure. I'm not sure. I did remove some of the toolbars that are in the Audacity
saw
window
that.
normally, so that helps a little bit.
But all you had to do is take that black line at the bottom of the one that's on top and just
Oh, that right
raise it
there.
up a
Yeah,
little.
that's true. That's
And
true.
look,
I could do
yeah.
that. Well,
And
maybe
it would take up
yeah.
a lot less space.
That's true.
I'm not saying
I
for
didn't think
now,
about
but I'm just
that.
saying it's a good way to shorten up
Yeah.
space.
For sure.
But my dear
Yeah.
wrong person.
Let's see. All right.
Lady Geraldine
Lady
pokes
Geraldine is over here. All
I've
right.
come.
And again, just
Eternal
listening to the first and the last part of the line, so I know that I've got the right
laughing.
spot.
No, you're right.
All
I
right.
do.
I want, so I haven't really got, but
Okay.
Collecting herself.
Guess I could have done part of this beforehand because this part is kind of boring to watch. Sorry. Okay.
Well, we don't. It's just watching the process is
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
thing,
for
not
sure.
the whole thing.
Mhm.
How well you roll the
Yeah. I was hoping to at least get to. Well, we'll see.
Repeats it.
but I felt still greater
Let's go a little
responsibility.
bit further at least, just so that we can get to the part where some other
Sure.
characters start coming on, because right now it's just
Lady Geraldine waving her hand in dismissal.
okay. Right now it's just a scene between these two, which is kind of easy because I'm just jumping back and forth between them.
Mm-hmm.
Geraldine. Okay. Control X and paste it in here. Okay.
come now. And here am I. I was always good-tempered, wasn't
Right.
I? I don't mind
There
what
it
you
is.
say to me. With my
So,
Nope, that's not it.
Devorah,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yes.
Aside from this process, so you're in charge of doing putting a play together, and you get a character who just simply cannot do their character. They just don't suit. It just doesn't work. What do you do?
I don't think that is a thing in LibriVox.
We suck it up.
There is no such thing as negative feedback in LibriVox.
There is no such
unless
thing.
your bitrate is wrong.
Yeah, that's,
Because
it's
this
just
is
like
an
any
awful lot of
other,
work to put together to have somebody tank your project because they can't do the work.
That's
I think,
LibriVox.
yeah, I mean, I think it may not sound like what you had envisioned it or what you imagined it to be, but it's still a fun process and a interesting collaboration. So yeah,
it's with you.
and so as long as it is understandable, just like all of our other projects, that's our standard.
But you have heaps of splendid to them.
All right.
Certainly school chum who younger.
Okay, plaintively.
Plaintively.
Okay. Let's see.
So another question. You got all these different people. They've all got different background noises and levels of background going on.
Oh,
How
You
do
know
you
what?
equalize all of that?
That is the step that I always forget to do. Now, I think that the background on all of these, background noise is fine. Again, if that's an issue, you should find it in proof listening. But the step I always forget to do is to normalize the volume before I start piecing things together. Ay, 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 ay. Thank you for reminding me. I
So what do
always
you mean
that.
by normalize the volume?
So let's
if they're all set at 89 decibels or something like that. Is that what you mean?
I mean, ish, yeah. But you know, we have a range from between 86 to 92. And so as long as it's in that range, we call it acceptable. But if you're listening to them side by side, they might be very different, noticeably different.
Right.
So what I should have done before I started.
You as the BC or the whatever, you have the authority to normalize or to get the decibels equally.
I would say not even the authority, but the mandate. Yes.
The mandate. Okay. All right.
So what I should have done before I started piecing everything together, and I always forget this step, it doesn't matter how many of these I do, is I always, I like to, I use replay gain, which I have set as the A key.
Show us how to do that.
Yeah. So I went over here to Nellie Grant, and I just highlighted her first line. I'm going to do replay gain, analyze, and it's giving me plus 1.1. Let's see.
So then you're going to amplify 1.1?
Yes.
Well, maybe. I'm going to see what all the other ones are too. Because if all of them come out that same way, then I don't need to do that. Let's see. This one says minus 1.5. So, I always forget that step. Let's see. That says minus 1.5. This says...
Lady Luck is on your side today.
Minus 0.3. Whoops.
That's really not that much.
Yeah. Okay.
So technically you would go through everybody's, each file, and you would normalize it to say roughly 89 up or down. And then when you place them all together, they'll all be pretty much the same volume.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much. So I tell you what, where did Nora go? Is that one Nora? Come back, Nora. No, Nora's right there. I lost somebody. Nellie?
No, Nora, you took her away because her one line has already
that
been
was
used.
An accident, though. I didn't mean to minimize it. Okay, so I tell you what, I am going to amplify Nellie. I'm going to leave the rest alone and hope that that's good. I'm going to do 1.5. And then if that's still, when I go through on phase 2 and I adjust timing, I can also fine tune volume as well. Because sometimes the readout
just takes longer.
Yeah, sometimes if you measure the volume, it can say that they're identical, but yet they don't sound the same. So I'll fine tune that.
Devorah, we're going to a point soon where you could play us so that we could hear what you've got so far.
Yeah, probably so. I was hoping to get, let's see how much further. Yeah. Let's do like another maybe 2 pages. And
Dr. Alice, laughing.
Okay. There we are, laughing. There we are. Okay, and then we'll do that. Nothing. Okay.
Dancing around a little.
Aha! Handwriting.
She dances into a chair and sits primly up.
Dr. Alice.
Actually, I have a major problem.
All right. Then we have Lady Geraldine again.
It doesn't.
All right. Theme. Yeah. Okay, well, we're about... Yeah. Okay, Gertrude Silberthwaite's about to walk in, so we'll go up to that point. Where am I? Harem theme. The harem
Harem
theme?
theme.
What is that?
The harem theme, anything.
Wait. Ay.
Doesn't it?
I put that in the wrong spot. It's hard multitasking like this. There we are.
Enlarge on the harem.
Okay, it is not called that.
Imperial drum.
Okay. Oh, here's another thing that's kind of neat. I don't know, if you can, in Audacity, you can click and drag up here in this top bar. And then when you release that click, it'll play that selection. So that's one quick and easy way to both select it and listen to it. Okay, and then we have the door opens.
The door opens.
It's Gertrude
Engaging
Silverthwaite.
personality.
And again, I'm going to insert a tone for her that I'm going to use for a place marker. Again, non-technical term. That's just what I call it. So, and then I would
It is
continue.
actually called a marker.
Is it? Okay, great. Well, there you go. Look at that. I'm smarter than I thought. Okay, so let's pretend that I have now... Yeah. Let's pretend that I have now gone further than that, and I have all of my lines inserted, and everything, and that all we have is just this narrator. So for now, let's pretend like all of these have been closed because all of the lines are where they need to be in the narrator file. And let's go back to the beginning. Okay. And play from the beginning. So this time I'm going to listen to everything all the way through, not just, beginnings and ends of lines, just to see if there's anything weird in there that needs to be addressed.
Lady Geraldine's Speech by Beatrix Harridan. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
All right. Now we have this giant space, which we don't need. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to highlight about what I think needs to go, and then hit the C key.
.org. Characters.
That sounded pretty good. So with the C key, when you hit C while you have something selected, it'll play the part before your selection and the part after, but it won't play the selection. So that's what it'll sound like if I delete this section. One more time.
.org.
That sounds like a good pause, so I'm going to cut it.
Characters.
Which I've set with a keyboard shortcut. So there we are. And it is cut.
.org. Characters.
Dr. Alice Romney, a medical woman. Read by Devorah.
How much space to leave? I'm kind of eyeballing it, and the more you do it, the more, the easier it gets to eyeball.
Read by Devorah.
That sounds pretty good.
Lady Geraldine Boleyn, Dr. Alice Romney's school friend. Read by
Okay, now this is, I'm just going to leave that right where it is. I'm not going to mess with that yet.
Miss Nora Bailey, a professor of literature. Read by T.J. Burns. T.J. Burns.
I feel like that was too long, so I'm going to take off a little bit more.
By T.J. Burns.
Better.
Miss Hilda Crowninshield, a famous pianist. Read by
And I think
Jen
I am lucking
Broda.
out because even though I didn't adjust these volumes, they all sound pretty good to me so far.
Jen Broda.
Miss Nellie Grant. Miss Nellie Grant, a typist and shorthand writer. Read by Avayi. By Avayi.
Jane, a
And I think
maid.
I'm going to take some of this out
Read
too.
by Skirber. Jane,
Awesome.
a maid.
All right.
Read by Skirbo.
That is. Oh, wait, and then we have our narrator.
Read by Skirbo.
Stage direction. Stage directions. Read
and then
by
we go
Todd.
straight into our scene.
Read by Todd.
That sounds pretty good to
Scene.
me. Some of this is going to be kind of subjective. You know, how much space do you like to hear in certain parts? And so there's, you know, I guess I put about a second and a half of space in between there. Some people might want only one. Some people might want two. Yeah, you're the editor, so it's fine.
Scene. Dr. Alice Romney's drawing room in Nottingham Place. It is her fortnightly suffrage at home day. She is seated at her writing desk near the window. She is of middle stature and has a strong, capable face.
I'm going to take out
Enter
some
maid
of this.
with card. Strong, capable face. Enter
and
maid.
some of this.
Maid with
I'm going
card.
to take out more of that.
A lady asked.
That's still too much space.
Enter maid.
There we are.
with card.
Sounds nice.
A lady asks specially to see you. I said you were engaged until 3 o'clock, but she insisted.
And then stage directions.
But she insisted.
So
Dr. Alice.
you get the idea. Most of this is just deleting space that you don't need. And the amount of space you're going to leave will depend on, usually I'd say probably about a half a second or so in between speech if it's like a back and forth dialogue. But then, you know, you have times where somebody cuts somebody else off, you know, if they interrupt someone, or you have maybe a moment where somebody stops to think before they answer, you know, so you can make those pauses longer or shorter as the scene requires. So I could continue going through here and taking out spaces, but I think everybody pretty much gets the idea. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Let's see. I'm looking for a particular line that I want to show you. And it's towards the end. So I wasn't really expecting that we would get to it in the normal course of things. Okay, here we are. This line right here, all four together, of course, our word of honor. So the four that it is referring to are, let's see, that is narrator, that is Dr. Alice, that's Lady Geraldine. Okay, it's referring to Nora. We need her. We need Hilda. And we need Nellie. And we need Gertrude, which I was pretending like, you know, we were using the place marker for her just so that I could demonstrate that. But yeah, I'm going to take these four ladies. I'm going to open up a new Audacity window. Whoa, that's big. I don't know why it does that sometimes. That's okay. We're actually going to want it big. And let me find, of course, if I had already taken all of these lines and cut them into the play where they need to go, this would be easier to find. But as it is, I'm going to just find that line. Of course, our word of honor.
Of course, our word of honor.
Look at that, first try. Okay, let me take that. Control X, I'm going to put it here. Okay, then I'm going to say tracks, add new, mono track. I'm going to put the next character in a different track. Okay, who's this? Nellie. How about this one? That looks right.
Here it is, Lady Geraldine.
That's not it. Try this one.
Of course.
There we go.
Oh, word of honor.
Okay. I'm going to put her there. Okay. Let me add a new track. Okay. Okay, Hilda. What about this one? Haha. All right.
Of course.
And we have, who's this? Nora. What about this one? Oh, yeah. I'm on a roll. Okay.
Of course.
And I forgot to make a new track. So let's do new mono track.
They
And
each
put that
look
there.
so different. This is mind blowing. This is like who, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Together.
So actually, thank you for that tip, Michelle, about shrinking these tracks. I will do that for this so that we can see all four at once.
Okay, I just remembered that there's one command Phil might know where in one command you can make them all shrink to the same size.
Wow,
It's
interesting.
somewhere up
Okay.
there in tools. You can find it later.
Well, so when I'm trying to line these up, you can see they're not going to line up right away. And if I play it, it's going to sound like a mess. So let's what does it sound like?
Of course.
Our word of
Word
honor.
of honor.
I mean,
Like Thanksgiving dinner at my house.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you know, that might be what four random women actually spontaneously do in real life, but this isn't real life, it's a play, so it's got to sound nice. So what I do to get these to line up, and even if they're not perfect, I want them to line up better than they are now. You can see when I have my cursor up here on this top that there's that vertical line. I use that to see how close or far away. I try to line up the beginning points first. So I'm going to take out a little bit of the space at the beginning of this one and this one. A little bit more right there. Okay. Okay, beginning points are pretty much lined up. And then when I highlight this, I'm going to look down here, which tells me that this section is 2.4 seconds long. This section is 2.5. This is 2.3. And this is 3.28. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me do solo. I want to hear just this one right now. Okay. This one I feel like needs a little bit of space because these three all have space in between and this one runs together. So I'm going to add a little space. I'm going to just pick this up, do Control C, and stick it in right there. Let me zoom to make sure it's right in there. Bam. Okay. There we are. Okay. So now let me measure them again. Now this one is 2.5. This one is 2.5-ish. 2.2. And this one is 3.2. So I'm going to use the effect, change tempo, and you can, it says change tempo without changing pitch. We don't want, you know, chipmunks or anything in here. So if you do change speed, it will change the tempo and the pitch. Don't do that. Unless you want chipmunks in your play. That's your choice. So you can change this. Of course, our word of honor. Exactly. You can change this as far as a percent, positive or negative, or what I generally do is I will just go here and put in a target length. I'm going to do 2.5 seconds to change this to. And then it slowed it down. So let's see now.
Of course.
Okay. It's still a little bit messy.
Word of honor.
I'm going to, I still have that space. So let me add that space in here. I'm going to see if I can get this second phrase to line up a little bit better. First phrase is looking, oh, you know, the of course is starting to sound pretty good, I think. But we want this one to line up too. Okay, how about now?
Of course.
It's not bad.
Our word of honor.
It's not bad. Let's see.
Of course.
Not bad at all.
Our word of honor.
I'll take out a little bit of that. Okay.
Our word
It's
of
actually
honor.
pretty good. It's a little bit messy, but you know, they're not.
Well, that
if this was a
phrase on the first line is way wider than all the other.
That's true. Yeah, and I was thinking of that. but it's mostly just that longer S on the end. So,
Of course.
Actually, what? Stop.
Of
Let me just do that. Yeah,
Of
it's mostly
course.
the longer S on the end can deal with. And again, this is subjective, and some people, some editors are going to be pickier about this than others. If this was like something like the Mikado, or something that had, it was supposed to be a chorus rather than a group of people, then I would want it to be much tighter than this. But I'm kind of feeling okay about this. I'm going to normalize the volumes and then see how that sounds. So to do that, I drag this across and then down all of them. So I've got all of them selected. And then you can do, what am I doing? I'm looking for replay gain. Replay gain, normalize. So it changed the volume for all of them. So hopefully they'll be better balanced now.
Of course.
So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to take it and export it. Not that project. We're working on a different one today. Okay, Geraldine. I'm going to call it. I'm just going to call it group. I'm just going to call it group. Okay. So I can close this. I don't want to close it. I'm scared. Cancel. I'm not going to close it. But I am going to open this group line. So I just exported that. So it mixed all 4 of those tracks together into one. Now this one is going to be probably too loud. So let's see what it says. Quite loud. So I'm going to de-amplify it. Let's take it down by 3 notches.
Of course.
And so when I get to that point in the script, this all 4 together line, I can just cut it from this window and stick it right in. So that is, I think, probably the easiest way to deal with group lines like that. And if I have a bunch of group lines in one play or in one chapter, I'll do all of them in a multi-track kind of window like I just did and export all of them together. So yeah. Often what I will do during that phase 1, which is just the copy, paste, is when I get to this line, all 4 together, I'll just take the 4 of them and just do, bam, 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 one after the other. So that then as I'm going through my tweaking and adjusting the volumes and spacing, at that point, I'll pull those 4 out, put them in their group thing, replace them with a place marker. Does that make sense?
I have a quick question for you, Devorah. Why do you export to MP3? Why don't you do mix and render to new track? And then you can just adjust the volume in Audacity and then copy and paste from Audacity to Audacity. You don't even have to go to MP3.
Good point. Yeah.
That's
great idea. Maybe I will do that from now on. I like that.
I'm unmuted. So in other words, export to another track, but you can
right.
adjust.
You can say
okay, hang
track.
On. Let me
click
see.
track and then mix and render to new track.
Let me see if I'm tracking with you. Okay. So what I would do is tracks, mix and render to new track.
Render to new track, right. But first you have to highlight all 4 lines.
Oh, okay. So just having a selection in all 4 lines wouldn't be enough. You would have to.
You have to highlight the selection. No, you have to highlight the selection. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And then you could. Then
so
you
now
can
if I do solo on this one.
Oops.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. So you don't even have to export it at all. Look at you.
So if it was me doing it, I would have just put everything in one Audacity session. And each character has a track, and then you don't lose any file data until the end when you export.
Oh, that's hard though. I find that hard because you move things, all kinds of things around, and once Devorah has that little section, it'll move when she sticks other things in. And
no, it doesn't have to move at all.
It doesn't.
I'll show you guys
to.
here in a few minutes when we get done. When Devorah finishes, I'll show you a different way of accomplishing the same thing.
Okay. Jordan wants to show us audition. It's a simple thing. I guess I shouldn't say that. It's a simple thing if you know what you're doing. But anyway, I just wanted to jump in there, Jordan. Yeah, I think we're going to have a few minutes here. Okay, we left off with asking if anybody has questions.
Well, real quick, I did want to mention that having everyone in their own track. I did used to do that for group lines anyway, not for everyone. So I would be interested in seeing yours, Jordan. But and they don't have to move around when you mess with other tracks. You can sync lock the tracks so that when you delete something from one track, it'll be gone from the other one as well and stuff like that. I'm really bad at keeping up with it, plain and simple, as I would forget to lock and unlock when I need to. And so I found it more complicated, but it definitely is a valid way to work if it works for you. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Devorah, I have to leave at 5:30. I probably should leave a little earlier because today is my husband's birthday and I have to come and get his cake.
Oh, happy birthday.
But anyway, I just want to let you know I enjoyed your presentation and I will catch Jordan's, I will watch the video and catch what I miss. All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
Cool.
Okay, Michelle, thank you.
Okay. Take y'all time.
Well, thank you to Devorah, and we appreciated that. It's amazing the amount of work we go through to provide pleasure to ourselves and other people, that listen to this. Now, Jordan, did you want to show us something about audition? You have permission to share screen if you want.
If you guys will indulge me, I will give you a sneak preview of the tutorial I'm writing in my head for how I do my LibriVox workflow. So to kind of give you some perspective, I'm more of a video editor. So when I think about assembling things together, I usually think about clips in terms of clips versus going directly to waveform editing. So what I'll do here is I will share my screen. There it is. Okay. And then I'm going to go minimize some stuff here. Hopefully Zoom will keep running like it's supposed to. Good. Still there. Great. So can everybody see my desktop?
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. So what I'll do is I'll just pull up a previous project, my most recent LibriVox contribution. And I'll show you, basically, I'll just walk you through real quick how I did it. Okay, so to give you the setting, so to speak, I've got, what you see here is my little PVC vocal booth. I've got my primary microphone here, but the secret sauce is this guy. Secondary microphone. I have a small diaphragm condenser that I have off-axis pointed away from me. The idea is that it doesn't catch my voice, but it catches the room really well. So we ended up with this guy here. It looks like a mess right now, but what you've got here is me talking. And then you see a little gap here. What I did is I just cut it, delete what I don't need, and even though the gap's there, it doesn't sound any different because there's still room tone below it. And because it's pointed away from me, it's not catching my voice. So what I also have here, you have little clip markers here. And the numbers are arbitrary. Basically, it's whatever order I end up putting the clip marker in. Then on my iPad, as I'm in the text, I just make little scribbles. I'm going to bother pulling up. But I just make little scribbles on my iPad as I'm working for my marker numbers. So the advantage here is when I'm doing, because I mentioned I mostly do video editing. When I'm doing audio for video, my church has a 32-track audio mixer. And they record all the tracks together, and I have to break it up in Audition. And so each of these people, the key is each track in your interface needs to be the same thing. So if a person's talking and then they're singing at a different moment in the service, for instance, I'll cut them into 2 different tracks because I'm going to treat them differently. Or if one person's using a microphone and they hand it to another person, then I'm going to split them up into 2 different tracks. Why? Because I use track level effects. So I've got my vocal bus here and stuff. So instead of having to go through and do everything clip by clip, if everything's the same in that track, I can adjust them all at once. And it's complete, and because it's non-destructive, I can do it as many times as I want, because I'm not actually touching those original files. I'm just writing recipes. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, start at second 5 of this clip, and go to section 10, and insert it in this place. And then I want you to grab this clip here and put it in this place. But it never actually changes anything until the end when I hit export, and then it creates a new file, but never damages my original recordings. Everything is still there. So Audition has 2 sides to it. And again, I'm going very briefly here. I'm not going to go super deep into the weeds. But there's 2 sides to Audition. You have multi-track mode, which works like a video editor, okay? So each of these things is a clip. So I can go here if I really wanted to. You could even see the original source file this thing came from. And then I can edit it like a waveform. And if you're more comfortable on waveform editing, you can go through here and you could do your destructive effects if you so choose. And of course, that will automatically populate on the multi-track side as you change files.
I can't hear that. I can't hear anything. I mean, I can hear you, but I can't hear the track.
I haven't done audio in Zoom, like haven't hosted audio, desktop audio in Zoom yet, so you might not be able to hear it. So I'll just try to explain what I'm hearing. I don't want to take everybody's time up with troubleshooting and all that, but thank you for pointing that out. I will experiment. Okay, so what you got here is you have different clips, and these clips are WAV files in the computer. But we're not actually changing the WAV files. What we're doing is, as I say, we're just like cutting and pasting. We're making a little recipe. And I have a control surface over here. And what I do is, if I want to move something around, I can move where I want. Doesn't matter. Now we're talking, of course, if you're doing time and tempo, that's a little different. So what I would do is I would create a different channel for each person. Then I would assemble it. I would just make a new track up here at the top. And I would just assemble it over here off to the side. So I have this guy right here, right? I'll just move it up here. If I want this part of the clip, I'll just put it over here, etc. Or actually, in this case, I would keep them all on their own track. So, their track level effects still apply to that. So when I'm done, when I'm happy with the recording, I bounce with what's called bouncing, or in video would be called rendering, to a new file. So I'm going to say, see here, end out. So I'm going to go and export this to a new file here. And it's going to go through and render. So this is the only time it's actually making or changing files, is it's taking all those original files, not editing them, and just putting them in a new file. Now, if you want to be destructive, it does have the destructive side when you can set in waveform mode. And if you so choose, you can save over original file, but that's usually not recommended. And then you end up with this master file here of, you guys can't hear the audio, but this master file here, which looks just like what you have in Audition. It's the rendered file. It's one single wave file with all the stuff in it. And from here, if I notice little things like defects or whatever, I'll just go in paintbrush mode and I'll paint them out. So you got this guy right here. So
now, Jordan, you have to realize that most of us have no idea at all what you're talking about. I don't.
I'm sorry.
I've never used Audition.
Okay, so I'll focus on what's the same between all the programs. Will that help? So
if you want us to hear it, you can click when you say share screen. There's a place for you to click and say share audio.
Okay,
when you share
let
screen.
me figure that out real quick.
If you go out and come back in.
Share sound.
Share
Can you hear me
sound,
now? Yeah. Okay, if I hit this play button.
No, you have to.
You have to do when you go into
share screen.
Share screen
okay.
You can go out of share screen and come back.
Yeah. Okay.
Get out of share screen and then share screen, and it'll have 2 little buttons at the lower left. You click both of those, and then we'll have our audio.
Yeah, I think we need the audio for this because I want to see what you're talking about.
It only takes a second.
I want to hear what you're talking about.
It does say sharing sound.
Okay, and then share. Also, click the other one. There's 2 down there. Click video. Share video. And then when you click on both of them, then hit share screen again.
I still don't hear anything.
Nothing?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. Now I've got to go.
By the way, TJ, I like your library.
Hey, you like it?
I love
All
it.
LibriVox public domain books are here.
There you go.
So anyway, the concept here is you do your destructive web editing in this mode, okay? So if you have little things you want to, any little defects you want to remove or anything like that. So when
Jordan,
I'm done
could
with
you
this,
explain what you mean by destructive?
okay, so just like Audacity, right? You're taking a waveform, whether you're cutting it out of the file or making change. So when you make a change, it's actually changing a file.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saving it over, hopefully over a new file, but you're actually making direct changes. If you're in a multi-track mode, which works like a non-linear video editor, what you're doing is you're not actually changing the original files. All you're doing is moving things around. You can change where that clip starts, ends, etc. And all you're doing is you can move things around to your heart's content as many times as you want because you're not actually changing anything. But waveform mode, they call it destructive because if you're saving, you have the ability to save over your original file.
Okay.
And when you make a change, it makes it, if I say, I put some analog delay in this, right? And I apply it, it applies it there. And then I can put something else on top of it. If I choose to undo that, what I have to do is I have to go undo, right? So if I've done 2 or 3 or 4 steps after I did that process, I'm stuck unless I want to lose all the work I did after it.
Okay,
However, in a nonlinear editor, you do whatever you want in whatever order, and as long as you're not actually applying it to that original file, you can change your mind as many times as you want. So if I'm in like non-destructive mode, and I want to change my effect, right? I can go in and change this as many times as I want. So it's not actually doing anything because none of this matters. None of the stuff on your plugin matters until you hit the render button or the bounce button and then audio editor. So what I'm doing here, all I do at this point is I'll go ahead and just save it. I know you guys see huge bit rates and everything here, but that's okay. I'm also a photographer, so I don't like throwing away data. So I usually record a much higher bit rate than I'm ever going to actually use. And then what I do over here, I'm in mastering mode. Here I have this really neat function in Audition called Match Loudness. And so all I do is I just grab the file I just recorded. And what you got over here, I'll analyze it. And then I'll just run it. And I just have it aim for -21 LUFS, which usually gets me right in LibriVox's happy place. And just run it. And magical fairy dust, it's perfect. And everybody likes it. And now, my file is -21 LUFS, which is legal for LibriVox.
Yay!
And anyways, so the idea is I spend most of my cutting and pasting and assembling. I do that in a nonlinear mode. And then I try to spend the least amount of time possible in the waveform mode because it's not nearly as flexible as the nonlinear or non-destructive mode.
Jordan, do you use this for like editing plays or dramatic work like Devorah just showed us? Those
no, I haven't
many
actually,
different parts.
I have not actually done that. I've done a lot of editing music for church, which is a very multi-track process, and I've done a lot of video editing, which is also the same concept of assembling different things at different times. So multi-camera video editing is similar in concept because I might take one camera and then take a different camera, maybe at a different time of place, and put them together in one place.
So what about regular recordings for LibriVox?
So this is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What about regular recordings for LibriVox? Do you just use this like one track when you're reading?
2. As I mentioned earlier, I have kind of a secret sauce thing I do where I have a second microphone. So as I'm recording, I'm actually recording 2 different tracks.
Why would I never caught that. Why do you use
to subtract the noise
no
from
problem.
the room?
Yeah. So if I have a problem here, right? You'll see it right here. See here, this is one of those points where I have a lot of flexibility. So you probably can't hear this, but I'll play it. Anyways, I breathed or something like that. I didn't like it. And so what I did is I just deleted that gap. I just deleted that word right here. Bye-bye. Oh, I did a duck and roll on that one. I bounced. I recorded over it because I needed to fix a sentence. But anyways, what I can do is I can have a gap there. Because I have background noise recorded, that gap should be seamless.
And that background noise is in your second track.
Because that background noise is exactly at the same time I was recording the original.
Mm-hmm.
They're paired together, match perfectly.
Oh,
okay.
So it's not for subtracting background noise. I thought it was for
in a way it is, because I can control, because I have a control surface. I can here at a mixer, I can set that background noise whatever I want it to be. So if I need to hit -60, I can go under -60 here. That's fine.
But you can just have a gap without having it just sound weird, like it just
correct.
drops.
Silence, right. And if I'm a problem with my if I'm having a problem with background noise, what I can do then is I can gate it. So I actually did a gate right here. And so in that case, I can do that gate. Now, I learned not to use the expander function in the other plugin because it gave me all kinds of weird defects where I wouldn't start talking until halfway through the word. But here I just do a gate. And because I had the wonderful privilege of working in the digital world where I've already recorded the thing, it wasn't, obviously a lot of stuff doesn't work real time. Anyways, the software is able to look ahead. It can see the future, and it can open the gate up ahead of time, so I'm not cutting stuff off. So what I'll do is I can actually gate the primary microphone, and because I have the safety of the background noise, I'm still covered.
Okay, that makes sense. Gee, now I've got something else to worry about.
So a lot of people are the concern obviously is I'm a volunteer for LibriVox. I don't have money for an Adobe subscription. But I suspect there's probably a lot of free video editors out there that will work the same way, and video editor work on audio just as well as it works on video. Ooh. And so what you would do is you would use video editor, assemble it, and then if you need to do some final waveform tweaking, you might do that in Audacity. But that might save you some hair pulling and gray hairs versus trying to copy and paste over multiple windows. Okay. So that is the 5-minute presentation for my workflow.
Well, thank you, Jordan. Thank you. That was a whole new world. I think I'll write a song about that. A whole new. Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming. We don't have any more time actually. Actually, I know we have as much time as we want, but I don't. I have something I got to go do. So let's have a wrap up here. I want to. First of all, the people that do dramatic readings, the people that do these plays deserve a lot of thanks because it's a lot more work than just recording and editing one person. Like you say, matching everything and cutting it out. It's not simple. So I appreciate that. I thank y'all.
I will say that I think you only become an editor if you enjoy the process. I would say it's, not everybody is going to enjoy it. I do very much. And yeah, but it is a lot of work. And so it's you have to have more in view than just the end goal. You have to actually enjoy the process. Yeah.
Obviously, if you don't, it's going to be tedious and you're going to do sloppy work. And we don't want that. No.
The question about the puzzles was really good because I love puzzles as well.
So true. So true.
It really is a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it turns out great. Wait a minute. J Kitty's here. Okay. Hi, J Kitty. I want to thank everybody for coming with us, and thank you especially Devorah and Jordan and Gray, everybody that showed up. Let's keep on rolling and keep putting wonderful books and plays out there in many formats for people. Any last comments, folks? I'm deep into editing my latest solo, so I'm having fun. I like editing too.
Well, all right, finish editing this play.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear how it sounds.
No, I did one years ago. I did a play. I did several. In fact, I think I have a video.
I've seen you. I've heard you fill in some plays.
I have a video that how I edit plays, but that's got to be 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't know how long ago that was when I realized, wow, that's a lot of work. And believe me, it's not nearly as efficient as Devorah's. Okay,
TJ, I don't think I have a proof listener yet. Do you want the job?
No.
Oh, for that play I was going to offer. Yeah, I can do it.
Awesome.
Okay. Hey, we got it.
I was also going to offer. You haven't had anybody proof listen your part yet. Is that correct?
Well,
he doesn't need to.
At this point, there's no reason.
Wow, look.
Okay, I'll proof listen it.
Great. All right, give me an hour or so.
Wow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna end this session. Thank you all for coming. We'll probably have another one in a couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about recording setups. Basically, somebody came up with a workflow. Somebody mentioned that word workflow. I thought that would be a good topic because each one of us has individualized. I have a workflow that I go through. I set up my project in a certain way, I organize my files in a certain way. Over the years, I've found it keeps me from making mistakes. And I'm realizing, we all probably have developed workflows. It might be a good topic to talk about what is your workflow to record a book or record a section. Okay. And any more suggestions, y'all pop in there. Thank you for coming,
I have
folks.
a quick question. Have you already done quality of voice? Because I recently listened to a play where everybody sounded better than me, and I want to know what people do to make them. It was Miss Buxby's. What is it? Miss Buxby's Borders. Everybody had such
you
quality.
were so good.
Oh, I thought my tone quality was poor compared to everybody else in the room. So I'm
Need to hire a
wondering
better editor.
Don't say that where Todd can hear you.
I think it's my background. My room is too big, as you see.
Wait. What are you saying again, TJ? That you say that again?
I need some advice. I think maybe Phil, you're the one. I've got a good Yeti Blue microphone. You can't see it because of my back screen. I've got that equipment. How do I make my sound better? I need a fuller sound.
How do you make your sound better?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you noticed I got my little thing.
Can you show me how you using your Yeti?
Yeah. Let me turn off my.
Can you show me how you have a position? Some people they don't know that the Yeti's a side address microphone. So they try talking at the end of it.
It's upside down.
No, that's good.
Let me just turn
Some
off.
people try to talk it to the end of the Yeti. That doesn't work very well because they don't know a side address. So it's like that was a simple error like that. Then we can fix it right here.
So how do you sound better?
Hang on. Yeah, just my whole tone. Here's my
tone. Well, use Audacity.
Okay.
You can change your tone all you want.
Yeah, that's good. And so your tone, you're saying.
Would it be better if I'm hanging like Phil?
No, no,
it doesn't matter. The advantage of hanging it is it gets out of your way. So you have so much more desk space when you're not having to look over your microphone.
I can use my hands.
Exactly, right. But it's
okay.
So go ahead and just talk for a second.
Okay, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear. We have come to bury Caesar, not to praise him.
That sounds good to me.
The evil that men do lives after them.
TJ,
the good is often interred with their bones.
TJ, I think you're being too hard on yourself.
Yeah,
seriously,
sound fine.
I just listened to that whole. Everybody's like your sound. Your sound is full, and it sounds really wonderful. And mine kind of sounds. Maybe it was the character I was playing. It sounds a little.
Just blame the writer. They're dead. They can't defend themselves.
I can't.
That's the real reason LibriVox does public domain, because we know the writer's dead and they're very dead, and they can't come get us if we botch their work.
They're very dead. They can't get deader than that.
70, dead plus 70 years. We're covered.
We're good.
Okay, I don't know. There's probably 50 videos on YouTube explaining how to improve your tone.
I've listened to a lot of them. It's just.
Oh, you have? Okay, I've never listened
but not
to any
yours.
of them.
I haven't listened to yours yet. I think I'll take a listen.
TJ,
Mine?
it might even just be
one?
something as simple as hanging some blankets around you.
It might.
Could
so,
be.
maybe hanging them behind between me and the bookshelf there, or something like that. Yeah.
Well,
I also have some corners. The ceiling has some corners. Would it be good to put some padding up there or something?
Hang a lot of clothes around you. Take your clothes out your hanger, out your closet, and hang them around you. They do a wonderful job of softening to me.
Oh, wow.
You see, he's got a little boot there. I want to mention one thing. Somebody talked about my microphone. The reason it's upside down is because I had a clamp to my desk, and I realized that every time I would hit my desk, I got a little bump. Now it's clamped to a bookcase,
That's not
and
connected to your
I do
desk.
not get that bump anymore. That's just something that dawned on me. Like, why? Where's all these? It's me. I get excited when I record. I really do. I get into these things.
My daughter does too. She bangs everything.
So anyway, that's one thing that I do. But as far as tone, I have no idea. Maybe somebody else could.
Yeah, just if you can get me like a raw sample, I can.
Okay.
I'm not an expert, but I'll be happy to listen to it and see if I can. Maybe I'll catch something that.
Definitely, maybe I'll give you that section of the play that I was comparing myself to everybody else in the room. It sounded really.
You sounded fine earlier when you gave our little test sentence. I thought you sounded just fine, but I'll be happy to listen to it.
Oh, thank you.
We're also so critical of our voices. You know, people say that sounds terrible. I don't think so. I think we all get used to the way other people sound, and we accept the fact that you have a unique voice. Your phoneme and your palate, everything is different. Anyway, I'm not going to say. I have no advice.
I think I was more worried about the background sound, the whole fullness of the sound. Not background, but the fullness of the sound of the voice than my actual voice. I don't mind my voice.
Okay. I don't know.
I probably wouldn't be here in the LibriVox if I minded my voice.
Oh, you have a wonderful voice. Okay, thank you all again for coming.
Phil. You too.
And we're going to do this in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, unless I don't know about the Friday, but thank you so much, Devorah, for doing that.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Thank you, Devorah.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
And thank you, Jordan.
End meeting.